the previous generation, our father's generation, the grandparents' generation, they could actually do a job for generation and still provide for the family even if they had many sons and daughters. But it's not possible nowadays. I'm not saying the previous generation had it easy, but they had to struggle. But if they struggle hard and got the job, they would actually made it in their life. They won't have to think about something. Government jobs, private jobs, doesn't matter. Even in private jobs, you could do a job for years, decades, and you won't have any problem. You could provide for the family. Even low paying jobs, you could provide for the family. But now it's not the same. And the matter is, previous generation, if they had education, they would get the job, because previous generation, not everyone could afford education. So if anyone had any degree, they could easily get the job. But now it's fully opposite. Not only people have to work very hard to get these degrees, and the degrees doesn't matter, thousands and thousands of people are just working hard to get a job. But the difficulty is maybe millions, like in lakhs, people are working hard for that one position, for that job. And the thing is, everyone has some degrees, everyone has degrees, so it's now much worse than what it was before. And even if you actually get the job, it won't save you from the economy. The inflation has made people's life very miserable. They can't even provide for their own house rent. It's such worse. Inflation is increasing, but people's income are not. And when this arrives, people often don't want to have family. They don't want to get married. They don't want to have children. And people relate it to testosterone drop, or people are avoiding to get married just because they are liberal. It's not about being liberal or progressive. It's just about having a decent critical thinking brain. If you cannot even make money vote for your living, how can you provide for a family? Even two working personals cannot even think of making a family in this economy. And it's not just about India, it's everywhere in the world. In the major economy, people are struggling, and the struggling has led to people to avoid making family. I totally think that people who say that no, I will not have kids, I cannot provide for myself, how can I have kids? I think it's a very valid reason. I don't know why people mock this type of thinking. I think it much better than what all those poor people do, who just produce babies in numbers and they cannot even provide food, basic necessities for a child's development. There are so many people in this country who just produce in numbers and they cannot even have a proper meal a day, but they just produce by saying it's God's wish. How can we deny it? And then there is a person who worked very hard in life and still cannot provide for himself, because that person knows what hard working hard in this economy means. Someone who has a logical mind. But the thing again comes is, especially people who are at the top, many of these billionaires or millionaires say, oh no, look how people in the west or in developing countries or developed countries, people are not having children, people are becoming aged. I think not having kids and still being healthy is much better thing. I don't think there is any wrong. If a person doesn't want to have kids, it's up to them. And I mean man, woman, both. If someone is happy being single, let them be single. See, I'm not saying that being single is great. It can cause mental problem, it can cause depression in you, and you won't even know that. But again, it's better not to have kids and not provide for them. I mean, it's better to be single, not have kids, and then to live in poverty. I mean, you are poor, but you have more kids, and but you cannot provide for those kids because you couldn't control your desires. I think a person who is healthy, has strong mind, and doesn't want to make kids, it's up to them. And I don't think that in many of these developed countries it's because people's health are bad they don't want to get married, but it's because that they just don't want to get kids. But they are actually very healthy. If they want to have kids, they can have kids, but they just don't want to. And it is up to the aim should be. No one should tell these people that, oh no, have kids, or what will you do if you have kids. If you don't have kids, you need family. Oh, what will you do with this money? I totally think it should be up to a person that if he or she want to have kid. I mean, imagine having a kid and then you cannot provide for them, and you are not even a proper person who can actually bring up a kid in this time. I mean, look, everywhere there is a scarcity of good environment there, especially like in a country like even in India. I mean, look how bad the air is, the water is, the food is. People are dying just because of bad infrastructure, and you cannot even have a proper food for yourself, and you want to have kids, you want to have unhealthy kids. Like the government hospitals in India are full of unhealthy kids who has some kind of dysmorphia, some kind of health issue, and they want to have kids and raise them by saying, oh no, it's God's wish. I think it's the foolish thing a person can do, that you cannot provide for your children, you cannot provide proper food, education for your children, and you are mocking people by saying, oh no, he or she doesn't want to have kids. Again, this is just a rant. I am not a married person, I am a single guy, but again, the channel is about overthinking, and I was watching particular video and thought came to my mind.